Welcome to Free Range, where we graze on wild ideas. Backed by popular demand is the intrepid Drake Bailey for another question and answer session. You may want to make some popcorn and buckle your seatbelt. This one will be another wild ride. Here is your host, Gail of Gaia, with her guest, Drake Bailey.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. This is Gail of Gaia, and this is Free Range, and I am happy to be here with Drake Bailey again. And he is always fun to work with and to talk to. But I'd like to thank anyone and everyone who was kind enough to offer a donation here or there, because with that and some funds of my own, I was able to get a new to me computer. It's not a new computer, it's used. I got it from eBay, but it's better than what I had. And I think the picture quality would be is a little better. So anyway, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I would send individual thank yous, but I don't always know where it came from when I get a notice about it. So anyway, thank you to anyone and everyone who has helped. I appreciate it. Please continue to do so, because it helps keep things going. And I'm very thankful. So, Drake.
It helps to be able to feed the dog, that's all it
is. Yes, true. And pay for the internet and pay for the Zoom and the equipment and all that good stuff. But anyway, it's all good. Drake, what's your latest updates? I don't know. There's so many you can start anywhere.
Okay, well, it goes to a combination of things. Now, I sent a link to you, and I posted it on Facebook, our Facebook page, about the denigration and dissolvement of the Democratic Party. Legally, it's on the books under law, so that can make things real interesting. YouTube tried to take it down, got it put back up, and it's one of them ring around the rosy fun and games deals in politics. Speaking of politics, several news places that I listen to, one of them being Fox. I even listen to the CNN, that's painful to say.
That's
MSNBC. Well, I listen to some of this for the same reason that my wife and I subscribe to magazines that are put out by the enemy. You want to know what your enemy is up to, and this explains it very well, and that was covered on the show to an extent. Now, the thing that I've been hearing is that the mayor and everybody is complaining about the federal officers in their city. Well, guess what? You ain't got much to say about it, and the reason is very simple. I even got the definition. I'll get my glasses on so I can see it.
I know, that's what I need mine for.
I see fine at a distance, but I don't see where it's squat up close. Abdication, okay, that's the verb of abdicate. Abdicate is a nice collegiate word found in most Webster's dictionaries and whatnot. Its first common usage was in 1541. I think it was probably done before that, but Webster's is not the original dictionary either. So, and here's the definition. 1, to cast off. And there's a semicolon, and it says with a capital D, it says discard. Now, okay. Number 2, now this gets to the fun part. To relinquish as a sovereign power, formally, semicolon, to renounce a throne, high office, dignity, or function. Now, in legalese, you get into the real fun of that. What that means is that any officer of public standing who refuses to do their sworn duty, and they took an oath that they would do this, sworn duty, when they bow and get down on their knees and kiss the boots of the Gestapo and beg forgiveness for being white or whatever the motive may be. At that point, they abdicate. And when you abdicate, that means that you surrender your position. Okay, that's mayor. Number two, your and any and all authority and privileges gone. That means that the Fed has the right to go in there and do anything they feel like in terms of assuming the authority that you decided your sworn oath somehow didn't cover whatever political correctness definition that comes under. So consequently, you end up with a conundrum. Oh my goodness, you got a paradox.
Well, seems to me I saw a picture of quite a few of them kneeling and.
Yeah, it's all over YouTube. One of the things that really flipped my flapjacks and torqued my cookie dough was Napolitano getting on Fox News and saying, they don't have the right to do that unless they're invited. Okay, Napolitano, you need to go learn to read. Yeah, you heard me. You don't seem to have a decent working knowledge of what the law states. Now here I am, some furry face in the woods who lives with too many guns, and I know more about the law than you do. You got a problem. Not me, you. Now here's the deal. He comes up with this happy horse manure when it's stipulated and has been adjudicated, so precedent has been set, that when anybody in an official office refuses to do their job, whether it's dog catching, trash picking up, or what, they lose their position. Now, a lot of people, and I hear a lot of this, will impeach that turkey. Well, you want to spend years in court playing with it, go ahead. If you want to get immediate results, you file felony charges. Oh, and by the way, a good lawyer knows how to do this. You file felony charges against that individual for refusal, doesn't matter what the reason, to uphold their sworn duties under their oath of office. One of those is to preserve the peace. That means forget the riots. No. A few cracked skulls, rubber bullets in the right spots, and an overwhelming force of people who don't want to put up with fireworks all night or whatever the case may be. You can use a trash can lid instead of one of them fancy dancy shields that the cops got. Trash can lid does wonders. If you have several 100,000, say, now that'd be a huge crowd for a protest. You have several 100,000, and the population is 5 million. I will suggest that 300 million, 300,000, an overwhelming force of people who say no. Just simply line up with your trash can lids and start pushing them out of town. And I mean that literally. Push them till they fall back. You can dink them on the head with the trash can lid, among other things, while you're doing that. Stomp on their feet, kick them in the shin. There's a whole bunch of nice things that you can incite somebody to cooperate with you over. However, the great silent majority needs to, and really needs to, stand up in this manner at the very least. My suggestion is that any mayor, governor, okay, or others, doesn't matter what their position is, they can be a senator, congressman, state level. This applies, by the way, to everybody. When they violate their oath of office, remove them immediately. You file felony charges. Hold on. You file felony charges. Not just for violation of oath of office, because that comes under the state. You need to file charges for aiding and abetting insurrection. Ooh, then the little cutesies get to go to federal court and show cause before a federal judge who doesn't like the idea of somebody that never did anything in their whole life telling him what color underwear he's going to wear. Think about it. Judges will not put up with that. So now, the other part is that these people are held in federal custody until such time as the case is adjudicated. Not only do they get removed, but they get dragged screaming and hollering right over to the paddy wagon and they get taken to Leavenworth or some other nice place.
People don't seem to realize that there's a difference between protesting and rioting, and they've been rioting and destroying property, which is ridiculous. What good does that do? Absolutely none.
As Seattle.
Yeah.
They seem to like that.
Portland's going pretty crazy too.
Well, the interesting part about it is that the people that are innocently caught in this horse hockey, the small businessman who can't do business with that kind of atmosphere and has to have his place boarded up for self-defense, which sometimes doesn't do any good. They rip it off the wall and ransack, loot, and set it on fire anyway. Well, almost each and every last small business person who has experienced problems of this nature are in the process of suing their municipality and state, both of them.
Good.
So there's enough legalities going around just on that alone. Enough legality going around to keep the courts busy for the next 10 years.
Well, I'll tell you what, the attorneys are going to be making bank here as usual, but it needs to be done. Unfortunately, they are equipped to do so.
Now, there was a report. A lot of people don't listen to Bloomberg. I don't generally listen. In this one particular case, they had a small expose on a coming humongous legal problem for everybody. And that is foreclosures. Because when they have a moratorium on foreclosures, that's businesses and homes and everything, guess what? It's about to run out. When it runs out, you should see the number of vultures. You've seen Snoopy playing the vulture. Okay. Yeah. The number of vultures out there ready to pounce are enormous. And they're looking to use force to remove people from their residences and businesses and it includes manufacturing, supply, and all that from their properties.
That is so dirty because that is intentional. That is going to be your big businesses that are going to do that.
Yeah. Well, chain stores that were caught up in a riot zone, and they keep having riots every so often. The insurance company says, "Oh, you live in a riot zone, huh? Got a business there? Well, guess what? You won't believe the new premium on your insurance."
Well, of course, insurance companies, they're horrible too. I'm sorry.
You have all of this going on, and then you have the prospect at the end of this month, and that ain't very far away. This is 26th, and I know it goes to 31.
It's going fast.
And that's like next Friday. The fun and games is that the excess federal infusion of money into the unemployment situation stops. Full-fledged stops until such time as differing or new legislation permits it to continue. Is gone.
And they sure like to drag their feet on that, just like there hasn't been a second stimulus check and people are just hanging on by the skin of their teeth in terms of paying the rent and their mortgages and all that.
The government won't let you open up. They're responsible to pay the bills. Bear that in mind. That is a precedent that got set back during the Great Depression. They decided that some businesses were, what do they call them, critical?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. In Nevada, they must consider casinos critical, but other businesses aren't. Churches, you can't go to church, but you can go to the casino. Say what?
Or the liquor store. That's an essential business. Gun stores are open. They're considered essential business. And believe me, gun sales have exploded.
Yeah. Well, the way things are going, I am beginning to see,
people feel that
I think I might need one.
Well, they see people that commit nasty crimes. They break into some little old lady's house, beat the whatever out of her, take out everything of any value, and leave. The cops catch them. They get charged. They go and get processed, and 20 minutes later, they're out the door again, ready to go do another one.
How do they get out the door again? Because these other Celebrities and people are
it's
paying their bail.
it's called fear porn. Coronavirus is going to get the prisoners if we don't turn them loose. Well, maybe they shouldn't have done the crime, and it wouldn't be in there.
Well, that I'm
Uh,
going to have to. I'm
What?
going to have to stop you there because people are in there that haven't even been convicted yet, and the level of punishment for a lot of people is not is outrageous.
Exactly. They need to either turn everybody loose. Oh, in some places they're getting ready to close the county jails. Major cities. Think about Washington. Think about the state of Washington
Well, I wish they would in
um,
Phoenix.
or Oregon,
Mhm.
and think about their capitals closing the county jail. Now, if it's closed, you definitely can't put nobody in jail there. Not there anyway.
Mhm.
So it is. What has happened is that the Marxists have decided that they think they have figured out a way to totally destroy America. And there's a whole bunch of people out there that are looking at that saying, I don't think so. Now, they may not like Trump and the way he acts sometimes. I don't, but
What's wrong with
look at
them?
Biden. Oh, my good Lord.
I don't
He's,
see what people why there. It's almost like there's some kind of mind control program, nanotech, whatever it is. I do not understand the Trump derangement syndrome.
well, it's
I
very
really
simple.
don't.
It's very simple. He says law and order. He says we're going to do it the right way. And these people do not want it done the right way. They want to see an abdication of authority, totally. My suggestion to all these people that believe that happy horse manure is very simple. If you can't smell what you're shoveling, don't dial 911. Call Black Lives Matter and tell them to come take care of it.
Yeah, there you go.
You want to get down to where
Well, I was looking at something on a piece about Black Lives Matter and where all the money is going, and most of it's being funneled to politicians of the Democratic Party.
you
Isn't
got it.
that interesting?
Yeah, and George Soros is paying up. He's the one that's transferring funds to different organizations so that it doesn't look like he's doing it. Just
And
that simple.
it's really
Um,
unfortunate that Black people would think that that organization is actually gives a damn about Black people. They
well,
really
the thing
don't.
that what bothers me even worse is that you got a lot of people in the Black, Latino, the poor sections who vote Democratic because that's what. Oh my God, yeah, we've been voting that way for generations. Who cares? What have they done for you lately? Have they helped
Nothing.
anything? Have they increased jobs? You got you better way. Pick something that they've done, and you're going to find that they ain't done squat. They can even pick the trash up in Pelosi's district. I mean, what does it take? Very simply, look, open your eyes and smell what's being shoveled. If you don't think you
Exactly.
ought to be, if you don't think you ought to be having that for lunch, maybe you need to switch over and tell Trump, okay, you better fix it. We're going to put you in office. Now, the same thing that I just stipulated for local, like mayors and governors, applies to all and each and every last one of the offices occupied, be it the presidency or not. Now, if the boy don't want to do the job or refuses to do the job for whatever reason, sound to me like maybe we ought to pick a target. It don't matter who, preferably a household name like Pelosi or somebody, and pop their
Schumer.
zit for them and get them out of the way so we can get something accomplished maybe for us.
Yeah, they've just been totally ignoring we the people in the legislation, and then they hold up things to, like legislation, like even another stimulus check, for example. I hate to keep bringing that up, but I see a great need for people. I see people moving out of the apartment complex that I'm in because they can't keep the rent paid, and
Yeah.
I get
And where
that.
do they go? Grandma's garage. I mean, you got to
Yeah,
really consider what Some people ain't got basements in some places. Well, that leaves the
exactly,
garage. So
exactly.
and it's not. Here's the problem. Everybody's saying it's going back to normal, and when I say it, I mean life in general. The problem with that is we have already lost 40% of permanent jobs generated by the small business community. Permanently lost 40%. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but the the fun and games. How about the skewed numbers? How about the ones that are made up, like the unemployment rate?
Those dirty politicians too, through what they knew about the legislation, the small business loans and so on, gobbled up all the small business loans before most small business people even had a chance to apply for them. And then all of a sudden it's gone.
Now somebody supposedly is trying to fix that. All I can say is that as screwed up as that is, maybe you ought to tell the big companies and corporations to return the friggin' funds, because you got small business people that need it.
Exactly.
And if you don't want to return it, well, here's the thing. If you don't want to return the funds, we'll see you in federal court. Bingo. And it ain't just for the return of the funds. If we have to go to court, you're going to be charged with fraud. Ooh, you know.
Yeah. Well, isn't it amazing how since Trump took office too, how many CEOs have stepped down?
Very simple. They're getting out of they're trying to duck and cover. They don't want to get caught in the war that's coming. Now, the war that's coming is going to be pretty prophetic. By that, I mean, you're going to have a lot of hungry people, which you already are beginning to generate in terms of everything shut down. The only living I can make is unemployment, and they're looking at cutting a big chunk out of that. So what am I supposed to do? Well, can't get a job, and you only been making so much on unemployment, and that has limitations. I think it's 6 months, something like that.
Yeah.
You talk about some fun and games. A lump of coal for Christmas, they'd be happy to have that. Maybe they can warm the house up. I mean, if they're in a house, you got these foreclosure vultures, and I mean, there's a ton of them out there that are ready to pounce. And so, evictions, the number, they ran the printing offices that print eviction notices and things of that nature ran out of paper.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. Think about one lawyer in particular said he's got 6,000 cases that he's filled the forms out. Okay. They ran out of forms. That backed him up a little bit. Now he's got another 8,000 cases.
Maybe these attorneys that are doing that because they make money in the process too. Maybe they need to back off.
No, can't fault them. No, if it ain't this guy, somebody, and if it ain't this guy, somebody else. Quite literally.
Let it go through a bunch of people.
They're going to come after everybody.
That's a convenient excuse.
This is why it's specify and speculate about people's capabilities to the extent that they ought to figure out some kind of a way to end up with at least a shotgun. I'd rather go out in a blaze of glory than nothing at all.
Right. Well, you let your family out, take your family out on the street because of some greedy banker, because that's what it boils down to.
Well, the bankers. That's another neat little thing there. All of the bankers, every last one of them that exists is laying up big chunks of money, setting it aside for hard times, lean times, meaning that just the residential foreclosures alone is going to put them in a negative basis. Okay, and like negative interest rates, put $100 in and you only get credit for 95, that sort of thing. Well, this is what they're looking at on that base. Then you got the fun part, big ones. There are box stores that are going to fold and fail simply because they can't pay the mortgage because they don't have the foot traffic of people that are consuming to buy the stuff. So you got a snowball effect. That means that there's going to have to be some very drastic changes in terms of lifestyle and societal basis. It's been coming for a long time. It's going to have to change. Now, my specifications are a little different than the Fed's, but what it does is it causes each individual to do something. Now, it could be shuffling papers, collating forms, and all this other happy whatever for somebody somewhere in either business and or government, okay? That these people that have expertise of management or whatever also put their 2 cents in and say, how can you get this to go the right direction? Now, I described the 25th century society where you're taken care of because of what you do and the extent to which you do it. In other words, you get a place to live. You get a replicator for fresh laundry or food or whatever it is you want it to make. And you get your transportation is taken care of. Now, you do all of this stuff and you get a card. And those card charges up for things that are not on a list. Oh, I like that pretty picture. I'd love to be able to buy it. And you take the card over and you submit it and you buy the picture. That sort of thing. There will be commerce, but cashless. Has to go that way.
I don't like cashless myself.
Well, it's not a bad deal. All you do is carry one little card around and you're ready to go. Okay.
Yeah, but you can't have a piggy bank. You can't have a way to save. You can't have.
You can do.
I mean, there's a lot of things.
If you want to have some fun, in terms of saving, start buying coins, rolls of pennies, rolls of dimes, rolls of nickels and quarters.
So, is there really a coin shortage? Is that true?
Yes. No, that's real. That's real. But it happened. Here's the thing. It happened before all of this fun and game anxiety we got going, the lockdowns and all that crap. It was happening before that. Traders in silver and things of this nature were having trouble getting the specific coins that they would like to have had for that. I got a bunch of it. Okay. And the other thing is, we always end up with change, so we roll it. Now, I told the wife, I said, we need to start spending that, say at the grocery or at, wherever we go to get a hot dog or, just take a roll of coins in. Huh?
Oh, spending the change, you're saying?
Yeah, spend it directly into the economy, not to the bank, not turning it into a corporation. You don't want to give the large corporations coinage because the coinage will then be sent to the federal mint and disappear. You want to get it back out in circulation? Well, let's get some pennies together. A whole wheelbarrow loaded with rolls of pennies. I might be able to buy me a pretty nice set of steak knives or whatever. I mean,
it's not exactly what I'd buy, but okay.
Yeah, well, pick something. But the thing is that all of everything that everybody's used to is about to change. Now, the other part is that as I get it, things are supposed to happen this coming month in August. We're supposed to have a whole bunch of things start happening. One of those is supposed to be mass arrests. Now, they probably will not be gathering people up in big crowds and herding them onto some kind of super bus or anything like that. What they're looking at doing is taking half a dozen to a dozen at a time. Now, these are people's names a lot of people know. A lot of people are going to be shocked, okay?
Yeah.
And one of the things that Barr was asked on one of his interviews was, how do you determine what you're going to do with these people? Well, we're definitely going to indict them. No, I mean, is there going to be something that goes past that? He said, yeah, quite a few of these indictments have arrest warrants attached. That's going to be lovely.
I thought they were going to Gitmo.
Maybe. You have to understand that Gitmo is kind of make-believe to a lot of people. They don't believe that crap. They don't believe the list that, such and such has been arrested and executed or whatever. Okay, it doesn't matter. So if you have a place here, and you do it publicly here, then the people go, really? They chopped off his head far out, or hung the bastard. I mean, there's a lot of, different types. I
thought they were going to show us military tribunals that were supposedly going on in Gitmo of some of these people so that the public, who is blind to so much, would be able to see it themselves.
Okay, that is going to be partitioned out. The Gitmo tribunals are capital offenses. In other words, they execute those people 90% of the time or so.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that are not as such capital offenses, although there will be some, they're gonna split it. They're gonna have some here in the States. Didn't say I heard rumors where, but I just leave that alone because it's still rumors. They're supposed to bring the military tribunals to the States to an extent to show who's being hit with a taser because they decide to mouth off in court or whatever. Okay, they're going to really show what happens. Now, most people, even people that are officers, colonel and below in the military, some generals have no clue as to rhyme, reason, and what happens or can transpire in a military tribunal. The lead judge of the panel that adjudicates can stipulate a whole bunch of things. If you want to get noisy or you want to mouth off about this, that, or the other thing, he can have you removed, whether you're a defense counsel or not. Doesn't make any difference.
Sometimes I think judges have too much power, but anyway.
Yeah, but the thing about this is that this is so strictly by the law that it squeaks when you open the pages. You'd love it. And by that, I mean, it is very concise and exacting. And you are always given a warning. Don't do that anymore, or I can have you removed. But I'm defensive. It doesn't matter. See, military adjudication is different than any of the civilian or federal adjudication in that you lose a whole bunch of those, and I use this loosely, rights that people claim.
Mm-hmm.
So it's best not to get put through a military tribunal. You might not like the results. Mm-hmm. They can give you hard labor up to 5 years for a simple traffic ticket. And think about spending time in a hot sun breaking rocks because you screwed up on a traffic ticket.
That can't be possible, can it? I mean, that's just insane.
Yes,
that isn't right. That's where a judge has way too much power.
Well, no, not really. Not if you consider who they're dealing with. Think about the nasties that want to take all of your clothes and possessions and put you on the curb. Think about that. That's who they're fighting. That's who they're after. That's who they're going after.
Well, you should use the traffic ticket, so I'm going.
Well, they can. Normally, that doesn't happen. Okay. But that's just one example of things that can take place during a military tribunal.
In other words, they're very, very strict.
Oh, boy. You would not believe. You get funny about something and it doubles your time or expense. And just that simple, straight up.
Wow.
One guy got funny with a judge, and this guy was just he was a district judge. And I don't know if he had trouble with the wife the night before, but he had a real serious attitude. And this dude got up there and said, "You ain't done jack shit to me." And the judge looked at me, "Oh, really? How much over the speed limit did you say he was going?" "You've got the paperwork in front of you, Judge. Just take a look." "Oh, so you were doing 100 miles an hour in a 70-mile-an-hour zone. Is that correct?" "Yeah, probably. So what?" "Okay, guess what? You got a little fine to pay." He said, "What's that?" $1,000 per mile an hour over the speed limit for starters, plus 1 year in jail and 1 year suspension of license. I hope you enjoy riding the bus." And they hauled him out of there. There's one guy had 20-some convictions for DUI. Well, the judge adjudicated him mentally unstable to the extent that he didn't consider anyone's safety, let alone his own, under these circumstances, and therefore they sent him to first be mentally checked to see if he was competent, and if he was even if he was competent, he was to be sent to what they call a dry out center where you don't get nothing but water, boiled eggs. I mean, he went there.
This was a military tribunal?
No, this was civilian. Now, civilians can do that. Hey, if civilians could do, well, 20-some DUIs and he hadn't done a day in jail.
Well, yeah, that's bad. Bad.
Okay. Well, the last
did
time
he ever hurt anybody though? That would
the
make
last time around he did, and that's one of the reasons the judge stomped on him. Basically, okay, he ended up doing 2.5, 3 years out of society, getting dried out, getting fixed, getting the mental health problems addressed. I mean, there's a whole line of stuff that the judge laid on him, and there wasn't anything anybody could do about it. There isn't anything in that under those circumstances. He was taken into custody in the courtroom. And from there, he started making trips to different places. First was a nut house to see whether or not he was mentally competent or crazier than a loon. He come out mentally competent. That means he's doing this stuff willfully. I mean, he just plain just didn't give a shit. So they sent him to a place where they knocked on wood, anybody home in there? And straightened his brains out to a point where he would function correctly. It's just that simple. And it can get nasty. That's what I'm trying to express. Mm-hmm. Justice, everybody says, it's in the eye of the beholder. You got to go about it in an exacting way. Okay. If a person acts out in a riot, what is the correct level and manner of dealing with that person? Think about it.
They should pay for everything they damaged.
Well, that's one. That's only one small part of it. How you keep them from doing it again? Send them to the nut house and get their brains unscrambled. Pretty simple, not difficult. And somebody's brains are scrambled who does not abide by the simplicity. And it's simple. From you to others, from you in terms of what you're doing. All you have to do is act according to what is stipulated as note this, civil society. This is where your rights end where the other person's nose begins. You don't break their windows or set things on it. You got a legitimate complaint, and I'm one of the people that knows how to get these things done. If somebody's really curious, really interested, really wants to do it, and it doesn't take a pot full of money either. It just takes the determination to see it through.
My problem that I see.
Hold
on. The problem that I see with the justice system is it is just us, and we're not in the club. Just like George Carlin says. Until I see some real justice happen with some of these Congress people, for example, or some of these big name people that think they can do anything, but the little people, they're gonna pay.
No, you know what the little people look at that as? Real simple. Everybody's giving you the finger and saying, you don't matter because you ain't got no money and you can't defend yourself, and we're going to use you as an example. We're going to use you as target practice for the justice department. Things
that's what
are
happens. How's that just?
Things of that nature are being changed. You're not going to see it immediately, but it is being changed. This I guarantee you. This is some intel I've gotten from people that are in the position to make the changes we're looking forward to seeing. Okay,
because I thought
where little people get a fair shake. That sort of thing.
Because they haven't been, because they've been picking on the lower income people who don't have the means to hire a private attorney. They have the public pretender, and that's exactly what they are, because all they want to do is a plea deal of some sort. So the justice system needs some serious work.
It needs to have its head overhauled.
Exactly.
Among other things. But yeah, and one thing I found really interesting, I had a long talk the other day with an ET friend of mine that is in a position to be a part of the visitation, the outing of all that disclosure stuff everybody talks about. Well, and this person lives in the middle of what ET's looking at. Several things ET's looking at. They're wanting to see first whether or not we're going to make the efforts that you and I have discussed in order to fix things the way they should be, okay, or not. That's one of the things they're looking at. Number two, the Galactics just stipulated in a statement that there will be peace. Now, will be is not, do you want to act right and be nice? They're not asking. They're stipulating there will be peace. Now, there's only two ways to do that. Forcible invasion, which they're not going to do because they don't believe in that. Or, as I stipulated, very simply, it's a waveform that causes you not to be aggressive anymore, kind of thing. How are you going to get somebody to break windows if they're not aggressive? Oops, there goes your riots. Now,
yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah,
I like that idea.
Protesting things that are not right. Oh man, that should definitely be happening. And the other part of it, the part that's missing, is somebody in a position of power who can fix it should be doing so, or at least working on it. Okay, now I have heard that there are 2 or 3 groups that are not only looking in depth but in detail at all of this and trying to hammer out ways to adjust things in such a manner that it fixes it. So if there's something, and this is all behind the scenes, there's something going on that's big. And just remember, everybody's been saying, oh man, last day of July, sometime in the 1st of August, we're going to get a big surprise. I'd just like to see us transition from 3 to 4D so all this crap can end.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Oh, Lord.
Please. I'm with you on that one. Yeah, it's the other thing I meant to mention about the justice system is people used to believe that, and we were always told, at least when I was young anyway, guilty or innocent until proven guilty. Well, right now the situation is guilty until proven innocent. And that's not right.
Yeah. That comes partially from the online mob, morality mob, that if you do not go along with everything they have in mind, you're guilty, bad, nasty, Nazi, whatever. Well, you can take that Marxist horse hockey, roll up in a ball, and see if it'll float in the toilet. And even if it does, flush it anyway.
Exactly.
So, you got questions?
How about what's going on in China?
What's going on in China? There's a lot of things going on in China.
The floods are unbelievable.
Who?
The floods.
Flooding. Yeah. But that's no worse than what we got going on here with in Texas right now.
Well,
they got a hurricane down there dumping 15 inches of rain. If that don't fill up your crawl space in your basement, I don't know what will. Hey, hon, what? Don't have to worry about that old SUV any longer. Why not? It just floated away.
Okay. Well, I haven't gotten questions from people that I'm aware of anyway. So I'll just, some of the common questions that people want to know, like, for example, Gasara, where's it at? Or Nisara, where's it at? Is it going to actually happen or what?
That's hanging. Those are both involved and have been adopted into what's known as the GCR, current global currency reset. Mm-hmm. That has not taken place quite yet. However, the first place you're going to see it is in Europe. It'll be the first example that we can go by. When it starts happening there, then you absolutely know it's coming here. The reason I say global is because all of the financial institutions that have anything to say about world economic conditions are signed on to it and don't have a choice but to agree to it or cease operations. Now think about central bank closing down because they don't want to agree to something. That ain't what happened.
Mhm.
That's so all of those are rolled into the one. The GCR will first be seen. We're seeing some evidence of it in Great Britain now, but it's minor. I don't know where. I don't know which country is it where the major breakout is going to be, but there is a major country, be that France, Germany, or whomever, that will show the effect of global currency reset. That's where you have values of differing things all put into a basket, and that basket determines your level of financial capability. Now, it's not strictly financial. The things in the basket comprise everything, anything from poppies, radishes, raw materials like wood, all of it is in that basket. It's all considered to have a certain basic value. Those values are then added together. And what they divide by, I got no clue, but it is then determined that if you've got major forests, you have a certain amount of value in that timber if it were all cut. They're not going to do that, but if it were all cut, it would be worth X. And they take all them X's, whether it's water, clean water, or what it might be, add them together, subdivide by people or something of this nature, and they come up with a number. Okay, this puts you in an order. Okay, there's two lists. One goes by the order of the country in terms of their value, where their valuation number comes in at. The second one is the nice one. It equates each and every last valuation as equal. So the United States and Latvia would be equal. And that do what? Well, guess what? Anyway, this is, like I say, it's still being worked on big time.
I heard that some people were seeing rollbacks in debt.
Yeah.
Different debts.
Like I said, it's beginning to happen. It's just, how complex are each of the individual people and the population of the earth, which is what, 9 billion? How complex does that get? Well, that's how complex it is to do what we're talking about. So it's not simple. Some major companies and major financial institutions have seen the light and are absolving people of indebtedness. They're just totally erasing it.
Well, what would happen with the mortgages then? Wouldn't that change everything?
Well, now you begin to get the picture. Can't foreclose on somebody if they don't got a mortgage. Can't foreclose on somebody if it is understood, and this has been through the court, that we are the sovereign lender, not the debtor, but the lender.
Thank you. People aren't going to understand that.
Should be paying us to remodel, not the other way around. See, this really gets, it puts a smile on everybody's face when they go out there to do what? Well, that's just how it is. Okay, now, so we got the finance part of it. The other part is getting things under control in terms of the horse hockey with riding. That is not going to be tolerated very much longer at all.
Good, because it's terrible what they're doing and destroying innocent people's property and stuff. It's crazy. It's stupid. It's downright stupid.
Well, if people can't change what they're doing, the way they act and all that sort of thing, they continue to act out. And people, such as municipalities and states and whatnot, refuse. Oh, we don't want to get all our officers hurt, or whatever their excuse may be, to not do anything.
That's intentional.
That won't go on for very long before ET steps in with, we call it the annulment beam. What it is it's a wave that actually reduces everybody's tendency to act out in terms of violence and that sort of thing. In other words, the people who used to punch the crap out of everybody don't do that anymore. Might
I
get
like
your
that
face.
idea. That would be good
Huh?
on this planet. That would be
Oh,
good
well,
on this planet.
yeah.
I like
Okay.
the idea.
Now, here's the deal. All of these things cannot take place until just before the transition. And this transition is supposed to happen this year. So,
Well, people will say, well, we said that last year. It still didn't
well,
happen
just be
yet.
sure. Well, it was supposed to, but there was a big glitch. When I caught the glitch and I found out from ET what was going on, I broadcast it on my show in a heartbeat immediately. I made sure that there was notifications on our Facebook page. A lot of people want that information. I make sure when I get it, you get it as quickly as possible.
That's good.
Everybody not just needs to know, but they have a right to know what's going on. What is my future and things of this nature.
Right.
I can assure you right now that we're not going to end up in World War III. Not going to happen. ET won't let it, let alone others. And there's a bunch of governments around this planet that say, oh, no, not even conventional. We're not doing that. We tried that and it didn't work too well. So our situation or our condition is very simple. We need to take care of business. Human beings are the only animal on the planet that fouls its own nests. We take a dump right where we sleep, or however you want to look at that. We take a dump.
I don't do that.
Well, there are those of us who.
There are good people here, but there are a lot of bad people.
It's not a question of being good. There are people who want to make things better, not worse. And that's one of the reasons I'm on this show. I want to make things better. If I give out information that can help, that's what I will do.
And that's why I have you on my show, so you can provide information to people that can be helpful. I mean, we're here to help. We're here to serve. And
well, everybody needs to take the anxiety out of stuff. And specifically dealing with the violence and the riots. Think about that not happening any longer, or all of a sudden it goes down the tube. It kind of lessens. It just sort of the level comes from right about your eyeballs, and it gets down to where you can breathe again. You go, oh, breath of fresh air. That's free air. Suck all of it up I can. And this is where you have the idea of the standoff I was proposing, where you have the silent majority, which is huge, right? It's over here, and you got the little bitty rioters over here. Well, if you take that big huge thing and glom, it won't take much of that to let them know that is not acceptable. Period. Yeah. Not society in general, and all them old. I don't know how many people have really experienced this, but I saw a grandma on YouTube. Guy tried to rob her. Well, she had her purse tied to her walker. He grabs the purse and goes, boom. She calmly walks over, shuffles over with the walker, looks at him and says, you're in trouble now, and commenced to beat the whatever out of him with her walker. The police had to pull her off of the guy. Oh, the guy is screaming, she's killing me. She's killing me. Well,
shouldn't be stealing your purse.
Yeah, there are a lot of things that can, and that might seem hilarious, but this is the manner in which things should be. It should be such that any crook that's thinking about doing something funky to somebody should hesitate, for the simple fact they don't know if their victim is armed. And most women shoot low anyway. I'm not going to do that. No. Real soon. It's not complicated to get this across. You want to stop hijackings? Give everybody on the airplane a gun. The hijackers will, no. They'd be in the corner crying, Mommy. It becomes more simplistic when you make it real. There are several ways to make it real. I have described some of the least violent ways to make it real. Trash can lid. I've seen people with umbrellas. Oh, really? How well does that stand up to a trash can lid? Let's find out. You get 500 grannies pushing on a trash can lid. You better get out of the way. I mean, it's ludicrous. It's ridiculous. Well, so are the rioters. They think they're really doing something. The only thing you're doing is screwing yourself and your mission and the idea of equality up thoroughly. That's all you're doing. You're screwing it right out of shape so bad it may never be able to be put back together.
Well, isn't it interesting that they have all this rioting going on, and then they have this mask law so that these people that are rioting, if they got a mask on, you can't really see who they are. Was it
That's why you
planned
clunk
that
that.
way?
That's why you clunk them over the head with a 2x4. That drops the mask usually. And it's satisfying when you hear bones crunch
That's a
for
whole
certain
nother.
people.
That's a whole nother story. The masking of America, which has a lot to do with rituals that I don't think people are aware of.
Yeah.
The ritual of being masked. I mean, slaves, they used to mask people so they wouldn't have any voice. They're not to talk. Even the hand washing ritual, there's something to that too. And all of, and of course the kneeling. All of these are involved in rituals that are, and people don't even realize it, but they keep going along with it. I thought for a while there that there weren't as many people that had masks on about a week ago, and then this week, all of a sudden they're all masked up again. I don't know if the governor or somebody passed another law or some other BS like that, because it's not law, a mandate, or a
they're trying to hide under the safety laws dealing with an epidemic. That's where this idea comes from. The only problem is that in order to make these things valid, you have to run them through the legislature, and none of these oh boy, none of these educated idiots has the common sense to check with a lawyer as to how to go about things and get it done right. So,
but it shouldn't be done in the first place, because the fact of the matter is a mask, or the masks that they're wearing, are actually it's like trying to keep mosquitoes out and putting up a cyclone fence. It doesn't work. I mean, the size of the viruses or the bacteria, because some of them say it's exosomes, and you cannot pass it from one person to another. It's just ridiculous what's going on.
Well, what I saw that I liked, and I think you'd like it too, it was on our Facebook page. I think you'd really love this. This guy that finishes drywall with sanding and whatnot.
Yes, I saw that.
Right?
Yeah.
And he gets done with it and pulls the mask off, and he's all covered with shit. And it says they say masks work, and doesn't look like it to me. It was the bottom photograph. Real simple. Unless you have what's called a respirator, okay, and it has to be a bio respirator. You just jack the price up about 10 times what a regular respirator runs. It don't work. It doesn't do any good other than, if I sneeze, I won't sneeze all over somebody. Is that it? Oh, yes. And well, guess what? When you sneeze, you get a big cloud on the top and a big cloud on the bottom. And that big cloud is just as big as if you just didn't have a mask on at all and sneezed. It does not travel in a literal lineal distance as far right at first. It does later when the air conditioner picks it up and spreads it throughout your house or the building you're in.
Well, it's and those one masks that they wear are the guy that's wearing it is actually, if he had the crud, he would be blowing it out right at you, because that mask it's not made.
It don't filter nothing.
Yeah, it's a joke. I mean, I can't believe the number of people that I see with a mask on. The last time I went to the store, a whole ton of them, and I'm going, you're not even, you think you're protecting yourself, but you're not. It doesn't protect you from anything. All it does is mask you up. You can't see a person smile. You can't see their face.
I'm kind of lucky. They diagnosed me with COPD, so I don't got to wear a friggin' mask.
Right. Well, see, here's the thing, too, though. Technically, I'm exempt as far as I'm concerned, and you can't ask me what the medical reason is. You don't have to give it. There's HIPAA laws that prove otherwise. So that's That's a legitimate statement to make. And besides,
Yeah.
the whole thing doesn't protect like they do. And I will be having someone on the show eventually. I may not have on Judy Mikovic's.
Drink about 4 ounces of tonic water twice a week, and you're good to go.
Yeah, see, that's the other thing. This is just all blown so far out of proportion. It's
Yeah, exactly. Now, I think it's kind of interesting that they decided to use lockdown as the term to describe the conditions of closing everybody up in their house. Lockdown is a term used for inmates of a detention facility when they lock you in your cell to prevent rioting. Okay.
Or to give the guards some time off to do whatever they want.
Well, they need to do some serious radical rethinking about this happy stuff. I heard from a certain person in a certain place who heard this from another person in a certain place.
This sounds like hearsay.
Well, not exactly.
Okay.
That this was an exercise in control. Now, if that don't make sense here, but I don't
I agree with that.
Can we control the American people? They're all buying guns and ammo like crazy. Well, they shoot at it. They don't know. Well, they're not going to know until it's too friggin' late, from what I get. Oops. Yep. So, yeah, I'm having fun being able to bob my head back and forth.
Well, the other thing, I had it here. I don't know where it is right now, but the Rockefeller Lockstep, which came out in 2010, that's being followed to a T. An absolute T.
Yeah, I know. The problem is that that thing has been outdated so badly in terms of its application, implementation, and things of that nature. They had to change it around. Okay, 2 things had to be done. 1, you had to scare the whatever out of everybody bad enough that they would comply.
They did a pretty good job.
We had a little thing going around our Facebook group that spread all over the world. I will not comply. It worked real good. There are a lot of people that would not comply. Now, if a judge decides he's going to do this, that, or the other thing, in terms of a benefit, a so-called benefit, when it's basically a right, that judge doesn't realize how much trouble he's in until you point it out to him that he can be removed immediately for breach of oath of office. What are you talking about?
Well, they have some kind of immunity now, don't they?
Nope.
Qualified immunity?
There is no immunity to the oath of office. None.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't exist. Good. Okay. Now, the oath of office deals with the upholding of constitutional rights. Okay. One of those, which is stipulated in the Federalist Papers and a few other places, is the free right to travel. Meaning, I don't have a driver's license. Tough. I don't have to register my motor vehicle because you can't tax something I already paid for. Number 3, the Department of Motor Vehicles is bogus and needs to be shut down. Save us a lot of money and a lot of aggravation.
It sure would.
Now, a person should be schooled in the operation of a vehicle. Mm-hmm. That's a car, a pick-em-up truck, and something a little larger. Those 3 things, period. Mm-hmm. Okay. When you manage to show that you understand how to use one, how to drive one test. That's it. You don't take 15 or 20. You don't get it every 3 years. Simple.
Yeah, or when you turn it to certain
one
age,
test,
do it over.
and then you have what is known as a permanent license. Now, people who are my age and older, make sure they can see and hear. And can pay attention while they're driving down the road. Other than that, nothing. And that can happen ever so often. In terms of professional, I use this word loosely, professional drivers, the guys with the 18-wheelers and other things, okay? Mm-hmm. I think that they need to renew their license, go ahead and go through the course. Every 3 to 5 years or something. Not every year. No, you don't. You get the license is good until you get tested again, and the renewal fee is 1/100th of what the origination fee was. I paid $1,100. Well, $11.
Yeah. You know what they do too?
For life.
they like truck drivers, for example, if they get stopped for anything, the charges are for they're much higher
Yeah,
because
yeah,
they got a
a lot
commercial
worse.
license. Yeah.
It's commercial, and supposedly the company reimburses, which they don't. Um,
No, they don't.
there is a whole ton of things that goes into all this. That's one freedom, free right to travel.
Yeah. Yeah. They treat us like a driver. That's why they use that word, because it's a commercial
But you're not a
driver and we're
driver.
not a driver. We're
You're
not
not a driver or operator. You are a
traveler.
traveler.
Exactly.
Oops.
But you still have police officers that have not been properly schooled about
Well,
this.
then when the boy writes me a ticket, we'll go to federal court and he can explain where he gets off playing games with my constitutional rights. Oops.
Mm.
Takes
Yeah,
about
well, not
not
everybody
it,
can.
it
It needs
takes
to just stop, because not everybody
I
has
agree. How you going to stop it?
I don't know, but
I do.
how? Tell me.
You want to keep your badge. It's simple. You want to keep your badge. You will go to this school. You will learn it, and you will do it that way. Capiche?
Yeah, yeah. The statutes,
It's,
codes, and because they'll say, well, but in this state, that's what you have to do, and
state
blah blah
does
blah.
not have the right to overrule constitutional rights. Period.
Yeah. Well,
Oops.
that's why I'm happy to see that we are moving back to the republic, and it is a
It's
slow
beginning to
process.
change, and positively. I love it too.
I love it too. That's awesome. Well, what else
So
can we
do you have a
put?
question or anything?
I did a minute ago, and now it escaped me. But let's see. Well, we covered the masks a little bit. We I don't have so much time in a day lately. So, what about anything new on Canada? Because we have a few viewers that are from Canada. Have you read anything new and exciting about what's happening in Canada and Justin Trudeau and all that?
Yeah, Trudeau is going to be given a Godfather deal. Either allow weapons that are normally used by everybody, or leave. That's pretty strong, but there it is. Now, if he values his life, he'll abide by that Godfather decision. He has a decision to make. No, you may not confiscate or outlaw weapons, period.
Mm-hmm.
It's in their constitution not to do that. So he has a choice. Rescind the orders that he's made, and any legislation that he's approved, he needs to nullify or leave. It's real simple. It's not complicated. That's why I was so really seriously upset about the way our state of Virginia acted in terms of the Democrats got in, and the Marxist socialist programs rolled right out. That bugs me. There's a lot of people that have, I know people over there that live over there, got machine guns. Well, these people think they're in charge. Guess what? There is a little item known as the Dick Act, which stipulates that an individual, private citizen, can own any weapon that the United States military owns and has in its arsenal, excepting nuclear weapons. Meaning that you can have a fully operational battle tank sitting on your front lawn with a daisy pot on the front of it, and you're perfectly legal. You can even be ready to put live rounds in the big gun in the chamber. 50 caliber machine guns legal.
Wow.
Yeah. So, my suggestion, anybody's got questions about firearms, check the Dick Act. You may end up having to sue some people. And the question is not about the firearms. The question is the authority to change, alter, subjugate, or in any way impinge upon the Constitution. That question, you always win.
I know. I got a question for you. What do you think about the status of Miss Maxwell?
Who?
Maxwell.
Maxwell.
I can't say her first name. She has a very strange first name.
Okay.
Epstein's boss lady, you might say.
Well, she's in the process of giving information that is so general that they know it's real, but it doesn't stipulate anybody. Then she turns around and says, I want immunity. If it was me and I was in a position to do so, I would offer her immunity on the condition that she give out everything. Ooh. Now, she says she has a list of names of all of the people that were on the flights, all of the people that visited the islands, even those that came by boat. There are a ton of heads of state and high-level officials that would fry. And she knows it, and she knows what it's worth. And give her the immunity and turn her loose. I would love to see the Shah, the Ayatollah, and a few other of these so-called bigwigs, untouchables. Yeah, I'd love to just slam them.
I guess I don't like the idea of immunity for some reasons. Somebody that's managed and been involved in killing children.
If that's the only way you can get the names, then I would do that. Now, just because she's immune in a certain area does not mean she's immune totally. Follow me?
So maybe
So she might
immunity could be she could live or she could just get executed.
Well, the civil liability part of it opens her up to all kinds of adjudication.
I understand she has a little submarine over there on that island.
She did have.
And right across from the island is another island that the submarine goes to. And guess who owns that island?
Yeah.
You know who owns that island?
I'm not saying.
Oh, why?
Because they haven't gotten the document. They haven't got the documentation out yet to prove that particular supposition.
Okay.
As
so
soon
I
as they
say
do,
it at this point.
I think it's a terrible shame that people like this exist.
I couldn't agree more.
And by the way, just so everybody know, Epstein ain't dead. Everybody needs to get that out of their system. Number two, they will offer her the same immunity. Okay. Now, when I say immunity, Epstein disappeared. I want you to consider that. Where did he go? Nobody knows. Nobody can say that he didn't commit suicide because there's no proof anywhere else. Okay. Offer her the same kind of immunity in terms of, if you do this, we will remanufacture you into a different person. It takes a while to heal up from major plastic surgery. Bear that in mind. Epstein's got that. The next person up is her. They couldn't get, they got his black book, but the problem is it's encoded. Guess who knows the code?
Okay, does, so right. You mean he doesn't know his own code?
No. I didn't say that.
Oh, okay.
He wouldn't give it to him.
Oh,
he said,
really?
Guess what? No. Okay, simply, she knows the code that would decipher that book. Now, the black book, everybody thinks it's a cutesy little thing. It's about as wide as that is long and about twice as high. And it's got everybody's name, number, and all that in it. Oops. Well, that they tried to figure the code out, and it is some kind of high-level military code. Now, I know several of them, but each one can have as everybody knows, a cipher or a specific little thing that unlocks it all. She knows it. Okay, and maybe we could offer her a true Godfather deal. We won't send you up for life in prison or execute you if you give us the code. And if the code is just as good as you think, we'll remake you into another totally different human being, and you can go about your merry way somewhere else. Now, that's not a bad deal. I don't think it's cool that she procured kids for the nasty, but tell me what you're going to do about that. How are you going to adjudicate something that is not open? It's not possible. So we opened Pandora's box by making a deal with the witch. Hey, guess what? We won't boil you or oil or burn you at the stake, and we'll even make you look different and give you a new lifestyle somewhere else. If you got out, everybody. See what she does. I guarantee she'd flip for that in a heartbeat. Where do I sign? I don't like the idea of turning her loose for what she did, but
I don't either.
I also,
Nobody else
here's the other part. I also,
opportunities.
well, think about the idea of getting these names
Yeah.
and sending them to the pokey or Gitmo or executing them, depending on what they did. It's not, you know. So that's better than nothing, in my opinion.
And then she would have to agree to some sort of chip so she could be watched, so that she doesn't do the same damn thing again. Yeah. What about? Okay, I've just thought of another question now.
Okay.
What about the children going back to school? What do you have to say about that?
I don't think it's a bad idea, for the simple fact that kids are not involved in the coronavirus loop.
They're not, and they have immune systems that can handle it just
99% of them don't have any problems with C-19, okay? The problem I have is the video that I sent you and others about from a medical professional that stipulated that the vaccine is full of nanobots that are supposed to change us into something else other than human. That bothers me, because they do have that technology.
Yeah, and the other aspect of that is, and I know this because I know a DNA expert named Sterling, that the RNA that they're using in that as well is something that will code your DNA and change your DNA. So it's actually life-changing in a very negative way.
More so. The little nanobot thing the little nanobot things that you can't see, they're the ones that grab the DNA and run it down the line, and here's where it hooks in, cluck, cluck, and then they go get another one. Okay, imagine billions of them in your system. Okay?
Yeah, and that's what they're going to do, and plus track you. It's like what do they call it?
She stipulates in that video that the vaccine doesn't do anything to affect the C-19 at all.
Yeah, it's all designed to control, manipulate, and destroy our DNA.
No.
Well, they'll be able to. What do you mean, no?
It's going to be reset, according to what she said in that video. They're going to reset it, and we will no longer be human, even. They're not going to bother killing us.
Well, there's tracking. You can track people with it, too. I mean, it's all part of the internet.
Some ETs like barbecued humans. I mean,
Well, I hope they're not around this planet. And they are, but they need to be removed. I
hope I'm old and tough enough that I at least give them a bad case of GI runs or something.
Yeah.
You can always hope.
Let's see. What else?
That didn't look like a good one, whatever that was running across your mind just then. So we have a choice. We can either address this thing on a civil basis and take care of the problems, or we get to have a civil war, or ET jumps in and goes, bzz.
I know. The other thing that I'm, and a lot of people are looking for, is the censorship ever going to quit? I mean, you put up a good article and they take it down.
They don't censor me. They're afraid to. I use Blog Talk Radio, and I will out their butts in a heartbeat. Now, here's the problem I've got. Hello, Facebook. You need to get your shit straight, and I'll tell you why. The next time that you cut me off from being able to share or any of the different auspices on your platform, and you refuse to tell me why or delete the problem, you're going to have a legal problem that you're not going to believe. Bear that in mind. You have now gotten official warning directly from me that I am going to flip your flapjacks and they ain't going to land in the skillet when they're get flipped.
Well, I'll join you in that lawsuit because I've had a number of articles removed or fact checked, which the fact checking is a total joke.
It's still on there. It still shows up anyway.
But it's an agenda. It's a way to
Yeah, I
discredit
know.
what you're saying.
It's robots.
And it's disgusting is what it is.
I heard that you could go on Facebook to go to settings and report and end all the reporting and whatnot that goes to the bots, so they can't do that shit anymore.
I also read back on the face masks thing that large retail stores that were starting to require face masks. There's a class action lawsuit that's beginning to be put together, and so now they will serve you if you don't have a mask. And some of these places, like in West Sedona, the city council actually said they weren't going to make any kind of requirements, and the mayor overrode it, and she's a Democrat, that face masks would be required.
So, unless it's run through the legislature, voted in as law, can't do it. Not legal.
Mm-hmm.
And these people, like what you're saying, be it a mayor, governor, or whomever thinks they're God, they can be. That is a breach of the oath of office because it subjugates the Constitution to their political will. Oops.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
They're doing that in Phoenix too. Yeah.
But why doesn't somebody, and it don't take nobody with any skills one way or the other, why aren't these things being presented? There are lawyers out there that hate mayors and governors because of the way the lawyers get treated from them. You drop the paperwork. Don't say what law firm, just drop the paperwork. Straight paperwork, like an affidavit, okay? And I'll sign my name to the mother, and I will be packing heat. We'll see whether or not they interfere with my paperwork.
Well, it's just they're just getting carried away, and it's a way of controlling people and seeing how much they can bring them to their will is what it really boils down to, and that is disgusting.
Same thing with the lockdowns. Same deal.
Yeah, that's a power monger if I ever saw one. And that's going on right here in Arizona right now.
Oh, they're trying to do it here too. We got an illustrious governor who said that you will wear a face mask in all public places, like going to the grocery and stuff. Well, I can get my paperwork says I got COPD and be exempt.
Yeah, you don't even have to tell them you don't even have to tell them you got COPD. It's none of their business, whatever your medical problem is. I understand.
Hold on a minute. Mm-hmm. I haven't sent the boy an email yet stipulating that he can be removed from office and go to jail for doing such things as making an edict that thou shalt wear a mask. Ooh.
Yeah, we even have a governor here who happens to be a Republican, so it doesn't always matter.
Party doesn't matter.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
Isn't that funny?
And then a lot of these governors, and maybe even the mayors too, are taking money from China.
Yep.
I saw a list of states and governors that have a relationship with China. Now, why do they have a relationship with China? Somebody in the state of Arizona, from what I was told, I don't know if this is true, so don't quote me on this, but they said that they attempted to sell the Grand Canyon to the Chinese. And it's my understanding that the Chinese Communist Party has been putting their money all over the place, including the United States. And
they're trying to buy their way into a whole bunch of things, and it's not working. I just put something in the chat.
Okay. Where'd it go? Okay. Oh, yes.
I just thought I'd remind you of that.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. Well, I guess that I would like to tell people that they can send any questions to the same email address that I had before. I will not guarantee that I'll ask every person's question because I've had people get angry with me because I didn't ask their question. Well, I
Oh,
am going to reserve the right to ask the questions that I choose. And if you have a good question, I'm certainly going to ask it. But sometimes people were asking the same questions over and over again, and that gets a little tiring at a time.
ah.
And,
I
and
tell you,
it's,
I tell you what, Gail. Not to interrupt, but to interrupt. Ask me anything. You might not like the answer you get, but you can ask me anything.
so,
I need to express something quick. Gail is a partner in crime in terms of doing this show with me, and I will defend her over what she decides is her show. People don't like the idea that Gail is in charge. Maybe you should start your own show. I don't know that you can probably stand it, but Gail's decent people. I found this out. It takes some time to get things, but anyway, now that we got the bugs out of the system right now and everything seems to be working well, I figured I'd put that in. That's my 20 cents worth.
thank you, Drake. I really do appreciate that. And it's not like I'm trying to be, a control
Yes.
freak or anything like that. But I know I also have people that are, getting all critical about things that have no relevance to the show whatsoever. As far as the audio is concerned, too, the audio is fine in the raw data. But then when we upload it to YouTube, all of a sudden
YouTube
the sound
screws with it. YouTube
is all
screws with
messed
it.
up. They do. They absolutely do. So, and
Now,
it's not something I can change once it's been uploaded.
and everybody needs to know the reason for that is that politically they disagree with what's being stated. And a lot of the times on this show, we tell the truth and they don't like that. You know what they can
Exactly.
do with themselves?
That's another one. They shut down, I think, your YouTube channel, and I know
Yes.
at least two other people that are suing YouTube for that, and you should join them.
Okay. Well, you should you should shoot me the particulars on how to get in touch with them, and I'll get in touch with the people that was doing the YouTube thingy and see when it was popped.
Okay, well, I can tell you two people, their names. I don't think they would
Well,
mind.
I need like an email address or something.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I can
Okay.
send that to you too. I'll
I'll
get that.
explain to them that I got zapped, and
Yeah,
I'm not happy about it.
yeah, and they're putting together lawsuits, both of them, and they had huge followings. And,
Okay, well, I don't know how big a following I have, but
well, you
I'll
got a
throw
lot
my.
on Cosmic Voice, so it's probably similar with YouTube. So anyway, it would be good if you join them. The
I'll
more
join up
people
with
that
them.
the more people that do it, does it.
I'll throw in with them.
Good. Okay. Well, I guess that's the show for this week, and I think we're better off doing something on the weekend or sporadically so that they don't know when we're going to do the show.
We can figure that out.
So, thank you very much, and until next week, thank you,
Thank
audience,
you.
for listening, and
Bye.
thank everyone who has contributed to the show. I really appreciate it very much. It helps
And
me
don't
out a
forget
lot.
to send in them questions.
And send in more questions. Yes.
Bye.
I'll put the email link on the description so that you can
Okay.
send the questions. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.